Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast, proudly presented to you by Little Caesars. Okay, I've got a couple different things going on here, everybody. Code LCFREECC for a free crazy combo with any purchase. All right, now you college kids, I know you're not around the U of A, but we need to branch out here. We need to get this one moving. And also, we got a new one we're going to add as well here. AZ12 exclusive code of 15%, 15 off 20. 15% off a $20 order if you use that. Check it out. Little Caesars. We love Little Caesars. All right, now another guy that we love, William Brad Alice. Hello, William.
Who also loves Little Caesars.
Yeah, well, hey, you should. I was going to say you got a full house in there. You got a full family. You should take them in there.
It is the daughter's preferred pizza at the moment, so we've been getting it quite a bit.
Well, you got to use that code.
I know now. I do.
Yes, you got to use. All right.
It's the new promotion. Who said I didn't use the old promotion?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, but then you got to real time it, William. But all right. So, Brad, first of all, what have you been up to, man? I know you're a busy bee.
Just conclude. Well, one game left, but just conclude the regular season for Flowing Wells Little League. I've served as the president for 2 years. Proud to say that we have gotten the Little League, which is not necessarily in the best area, so it's some of the only options for some lower income kids. Got them out of debt. Have rebuilt some of the things around the program. Our junior all-star team, which I help coach and my son plays for, is going to try to make their second straight appearance at state. In addition to that, I coach my daughter's volleyball team, undefeated season.
Nice.
And if that wasn't enough, my son's middle school team, Flowing Wells Junior High, won the Northwest League Championship, which is basically the champion of Marana School District, Foothills, Amphi, and Flowing Wells.
Right.
So been busy playing, throwing a little hockey in from time to time, and watching a lot of U of A sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about those U of A sports. Arizona baseball, they are beating butt right now. They're doing a very, very good job. I mean, the bats are super, super hot. They're playing their best ball of the season. And you always hear this phrase where they're like, well, at the end of the day, you want to play your best ball going into the postseason. Well, Arizona's doing just that right now, Brad. This is a scary team.
Yeah, they're a good team. I've been fortunate. I've gotten to watch them 4 times this year at High Corbett. Wish it could be more. It's just it's actually a great venue.
Yes.
I love that Sunday 11 or noon o'clock game. Try to get there on Fridays. Owen Kramkowski, who's a local kid. Someone just asked, am I playing roller hockey? I've been playing roller hockey with and against his dad since the 90s.
Wow. Okay.
And I am playing roller right now out at the middle school there on Country Club. But good family, really super athletic family. If you want to do a deep dive, check out who his dad was a walk-on for in basketball in the 90s, and has got some sisters who played D1 ball in some sports. But just a fun team. And you mentioned the bats, and we knew they could hit, but they're getting pitching.
Right.
Kramkowski, I think, gave up 1 run in his start last night. Smith Bailey and all the relievers came in for a shutout, only giving up 4 runs and using some little used arms in that game against Utah Valley. That's been the big thing because they haven't had to tax the bullpen, and they haven't had to play close games. The first one was close. Even though Arizona, it was weird. Arizona got shut down, but still felt like the better team.
Right.
But now they can reset the rotation wherever that super regional is going to be. Whereas Oklahoma or North Carolina is playing an extra game, which means you're going to be throwing a guy maybe on less rest, maybe not, depending on how it works out. But doing good. I know there were a lot of Chip Hale doubters. I think he's done a good to very good job. I think got a little spoiled by Jay Johnson, his success right out the gate, but 4 tournaments in 4 years, now a super regional, potentially a trip to Omaha. Right. I don't know what much more you can ask in this day and age.
Thank you.
Where NIL is, Arizona's a baseball school, but just compare them to up the road. And ASU used to be, and I guess you could still go, a great baseball school, but Arizona's doing better and probably doing better with similar, if not lesser funds. And that's kind of the way things are now. It's almost a reset button on college athletics. And Chip Hale has done I think a very good job. Everyone, I read Twitter. Some people are like, I can't believe he did this with his pitcher. okay, if you want to get that micromanage and we don't know, heck,
Right.
maybe the guy you wanted to throw wasn't feeling good or went out and party the night. It's college baseball. It's
Right.
a little bit crazy.
Here's what I don't get too, and again, Big 12 Bobby with a great remark. If William coaches 8 teams, guest hosts AZ12 Pod, and still finds time to get some watch time for Backcats, what's your excuse for not having the time? Very, very good point. All right, now Joseph in here. Joseph was going to be on the fan segment tomorrow. Very much looking forward to this. But Brad, I never understood this from the beginning. And again, I'm biased. I get all this. I like Dave Hickey. I think Dave Hickey's a good dude, and I think he did a fairly decent job here. But when he told me when he was going to hire Chip Hale, I don't think he'd mind me telling him this. He said, listen, he's like, baseball is my sport. I played baseball. My kid is a Division I baseball player. I know what it takes to win in baseball. And he said, the first thing you have to do here is you have to grind. He said that was something that Jay Johnson did a great job of. I know everyone's mad that Jay Johnson left. It is what it is. Jay Johnson was a grinder. And you can look past when Andy Lopez fell off, it's because he had other issues going on. He had some health issues, things like that. You have to grind in baseball. You have to enjoy it. And you have to, joking aside, you have to want to back the A. And he said this dude is going to leave it all there. He knows the game. I don't care if he wasn't a great Major League Baseball manager. And he's going to recruit because he has a lot of connections. So that was the one thing I said, well, a lot of people keep saying, well, he's not going to be able to recruit. He doesn't have it. He says, listen, if you've been around professional baseball your entire life, if you know the kind of people that Chip Hale knows, the kind of connections, you are going to be able to recruit and get your foot in the door.
Yeah, and I understood it because there are some people who watch every inning of every Diamondbacks game.
Right.
There's there's a couple writers for other sites out there who are like, oh, and I didn't like how and I didn't watch it closely enough. Oddly enough, I love baseball. I don't love watching a lot of baseball. I like going to baseball games. I like coaching baseball. So I like I said, I could tell you every bad fourth down call Andy Reid and Brett Brennan and Rich Rodriguez have ever had. Can't tell you how Chip Hale mismanaged the left-handers in the bullpen 3 years ago but I can tell you this. How many years is Chip Hale out of baseball?
Right, exactly.
When he got fired as a manager, and I think he had 2 manager stints in the major leagues. I could be wrong.
He was also AAA Manager of the Year.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He was on a World Series winning staff with, I believe it was Davey Martinez with the Washington. He was on Bob Melvin's staff with the A's. He was on the Detroit staff.
He's very well respected in baseball.
So I can tell you this, and I don't know, not to cast aspersions, but every once in a while someone will point to an alumni coach, usually in football, not always, or basketball, and they're like, what about this guy? And I'm like, well, he's really well regarded. I'm like, some of them have been out of football for a year or two.
Right.
Sometimes you do that for mental health, but some have been out of football for a couple years. And great coaches, unless they're just completely burned out, and that happens, are not out of their sport at some level.
Right.
And again, sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to go be an analyst or a scout or an advisor. Chip Hale was always in someone's dugout. And to me, that combined with his love of UA, combined with what I was able to read about his contacts, made it seem like a very smart hire. Yes, there's some other coaches you could point to. I was like, oh, I was really like the Dallas Baptist guy. Didn't know much about him, but saw his record at a place called Dallas Baptist. But at the end of the day, I thought it seemed like a perfectly acceptable to good hire.
Right.
I was less concerned about that hire than 2 other hires that have worked out. One was Jed Fish, which, again, didn't work out in the end, but it worked.
It worked. You still hire Jed in hindsight if you do. I don't like
and Tommy Lloyd. I had more questions about those guys than I did Chip Hale, just because at the end of the day, Chip Hale knows baseball. And if you know baseball and are willing to work.
Right.
And this is a guy who paid his dues to the minors. He wasn't, no offense, but, Matt Williams was a guy who went right to a major league coaching staff.
Right. Right.
And, not a bad idea. And he ended up being a manager. But this is a guy who wasn't afraid to ride buses in the Carolina League or wherever. I don't know specific, but you know what I mean. Can you name
the I was going to say you might like this. Can you name the infield for those San Francisco Giants teams?
Will
Clark,
Matt Williams, Robbie Thompson, Matt Williams, and I'm forgetting the shortstop.
I'm blanking on the shortstop too. I know after it was Omar Vizquel, but he wasn't with them then. He was with the Indians.
No. In fact, it was funny. Do you ever play Immaculate Grid? By the way,
no, I don't even know what that is.
So Immaculate Grid is it's a site and it's a 3x3 grid, and so you'll get like the White Sox and the Mariners. You have to find a guy who played for both teams, or the White Sox in 300 saves.
Mhm.
But they also have NBA. So like you get a player who played on
What'd you say?
the NBA. The NBA. I don't call it that other one. I'm not doing it. I'll go.
You won't do
NBA.
Yeah, Jose
No.
Offerman. Good call. Jose Offerman.
Yeah,
Good call
but
with the
and you have to
goggles.
match players, and it's always the Hawks. And I can name 3 Hawks. But years ago, yeah, Will Clark always stumps me because I always forget he didn't play his whole career with the Giants. That's a long way. But check out Immaculate Grid, Mike. It's your wheelhouse. It's matching players who played for multiple teams with those multiple teams.
I will check it out. All right.
And you can do NBA, Major League Baseball, WNBA, which I skip, and NFL, and there's some soccer.
Royce Clayton. Remember when Royce Clayton got a big deal with like the Cardinals, I think, or something like that?
A mutual friend of ours who we used to do radio with. He and I went to a movie premiere in Vegas.
And Royce Clayton was there?
Royce Clayton was there, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Royce is a cool name. Okay, now we got a couple new sponsors that have come on board, a couple new partners that we are very
Mike, how is that possible if you're so flippant in your reads?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, Easy Jazz Man says that no, it is funny though. Like, I'm not gonna beat him up too much, but he always told me, he's like, dude, nobody's like, if you go independent, nobody will follow you. And it was funny, like, I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll see, buddy. So I always think of him when I close something else out. So very excited about this. All right, Cody, let's go.
You're a grinder like Chip Hale.
Yeah, no, I'm a grinder. Yes. All right. The Nova Home Loans. This is the best entity in the entire city by a mile. Everybody has heard of Nova. They have a massive, massive building. You know that building that's on like Broadway, across from the, I think it's like across from the mall. It says Nova at the top. Listen, that's because they are good at what they do. And my guy, Zach Mooney, I've known Zach Mooney a long time. He's super involved in the community. He's got 15 plus years of experience. I'm not, like I said, I've refereed his basketball games for years. Good dude, does a ton of stuff. Family, father of 3. Obviously, and he coaches Sabino basketball, and he's with the Tucson Spartans. Here's what you need to do, though. You need to get with Zach, because Zach can help you get that home loan that you're looking for at a good rate, especially considering what's going on in this day and age. Zach Mooney, NovaAZLoans.com. And again, take your shot with the Mooney team. He's a big guy into the Arizona basketball community. The other thing, too, about Zach is that you got to scan this QR code, and if you say that AZ12 sent you, you might get a little bit of a deal. Check it out. He's the man. Love Zach Mooney. Happy to have him on board with the Nova Home Loans, the Mooney team. All right, now.
So one sounds like he's a grinder like you and Chip Hale.
Yeah, I know he is. Dude.
And we won't hold the Sabino thing against him.
Yeah, we won't. We're into Saguaro, but we won't hold it against him. Now, the other one here, Foster Plumbing. With as much as I talk about gas on this show, as much as I talk about toilets, I put out there on Twitter, I said I would really like to get a plumbing partner. And my guy Chad Davis put out there, he says, I know somebody. Foster Plumbing. Now, again, I've even seen them in my neighborhood. There's this huge truck out there, and basically what they're doing is they do everything. Residential, commercial, licensed, bonded, water heaters, drain cleaning, sewer inspections, gas, water, the whole work. 10% off when you mention the AZ12 podcast. Call 520-603-3867 to schedule service today. Also, the cool thing about it as well is that I also am going to be able to talk about toilet issues far more on this show now. I am incredibly happy about this. Foster Plumbing, they are awesome. Quality work at a fair price. Check it out. Okay. Now. All right, now. By the way, we have a great name in the comments. Alejandro Del Orozco Perez Jr. Holy moly,
dude! If he's not a left-handed relief pitcher,
dude, no.
Someone failed him.
Yeah. Somebody did.
Or a left-handed southpaw boxer.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it's somebody. Yes, that's a great name. That's an absolutely great name. Oh, that's a great Bill. Don't get an imposter. Get Foster. Mike's got the pipes, baby. Okay. All right. Now, pronunciation 10 out of 10, clearly. All right. Now, back to Arizona baseball, though. Listen, man, in the NIL era, we got to be clear about something as well. That this is not. I had somebody tweeting at me a little bit, and they're like, "Well, our expectations should basically be we're in the College World Series each year." I agree with that in theory, but not in the NIL era. Now, again, you want to get there every single year, but other teams are able to just pay players. Arizona can get you here on a scholarship. Guess what? You're not going around probably in a Lambo or something like that. So, I mean, you look at it, and the landscape is entirely different than it was even, 5-6 years ago. I think people need to keep that in mind, William.
Yeah, what I think you need to do is you need to put this program in a position where they're in the postseason every year. They are flirting with the World Series every few years. And that's really what they've been, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And what you have to do, and Chip Hale has done a good job, is say, look, you're going to come to Arizona, you're going to make a little change. We got some NIL. But you're going to get drafted.
Right.
And you're going to play Major League Baseball.
Exactly.
And you know what? At the very least, I can pick up the phone, call an organization and say, hey, look, you know what? I see you're a little short on left-handers in your farm system. I got a lefty.
Right.
Or wait, you need a power bat in the middle infield? Guess what? I got a guy named Mason White. You should send some scouts out.
Mason White.
Mason White.
Yes.
So that's, I think, a benefit. So, yes, if you're in for the quick cash grab, and let's be honest, a lot of college baseball players aren't, because they're not. Now they are getting full scholarships for the first time.
Right.
I think they now have like 30-something scholarships. But a lot of those are saved for transfers. But, I think that just look at them kind of plucking those Boston College kids. Yeah, you're going to get some scouts at your game at Boston College when you're playing Miami or North Carolina, but I'm not sure that 3-game series with Pitt is getting a lot of scouts out there. But guess what? You come to Arizona. First of all, there are a bunch of scouts based in the West. You're playing Big 12 baseball, or you're playing a bunch of West Coast teams in the preseason. And you got a guy who knows scouts who can just pick up the phone and get you scouted. So if your family's not worried about $50,000 here, $30,000 there, and it sounds funny because that's life-changing money to some. But for a lot of these kids, their parents are already in for $100,000 for travel baseball and equipment and trainers, and being able to say, instead of being a 15th round draft pick, you're a 5th round draft pick, can be the thing that sells your program. And I think that's where kind of Arizona is. They're bringing in guys who want to play pro ball, who want to get scouted, or who may need some development. You look at it, I'm going to use Kramkowski as a great example. Here's a kid, the equivalent of like a 4-star.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite good enough to get drafted in the modern 20-round draft. If it was the old 40, 50-round draft, the kid's getting drafted. Didn't pitch much last year. I think he pitched 4 games. He's their Friday night starter. Guess what? He's going to play 1 more year. He's going to get drafted, and get drafted high.
Chip Hale said something that was interesting on the show one time when he was talking about the SEC. Oh, also, we need to talk about the SEC here for a second and all this garbage. The SEC is so stinky, clogged, and backed up that they should be using Foster Plumbing. Seriously. It is smelly. It sucks. Brad, you getting 13 teams in, and did get like 7 of them get like knocked out in the first like round or whatever.
This stuff, the top 2 seeds.
This stuff has to stop, and I know it won't. But it's also like with college. It's like with college baseball as well, college football. Now that it's expanded, the SEC hasn't done as well. So guess what? They want to load even more teams in there. No.
Yeah, I mean, I said that for a long time. The more you expand the playoff, the worse they're going to do, because. And it's not quite as true as it was maybe 5-6 years ago when I first said this. They were one-dimensional. All of them were defensive teams, right? So what's going to happen when you get an elite offense versus an elite defense? Usually the elite offense wins.
Right.
And I even said teams like – and I actually, ironically enough, used Oklahoma, who's now an SEC. But I said teams like Ohio State, who are super balanced. The old USC teams, they would have thrived in a 3 or 4 team playoff.
Right.
But sometimes because of attrition in their league, and I've said this for years, the old Pac-10 was not as tough at the top as the SEC. And the SEC is always going to be tough at the top. They have 4 or 5 programs who can realistically win national championships with competent head coaching. But the bottom to middle is not as good as they've made it out to seem. It's a grind. Really, who would you have rather taken on? And some of those, man, you go.
I always
there were some grind teams in the middle to bottom of the old Pac-10.
I always use this example in football. Every second year, we have to hear about how great Kentucky is, or some team like that. They finished the year 7-6, but somehow they're ranked like 15th in the country the entire season, and Kentucky sucks. And nobody wants to say that Kentucky sucks. That in football. That's why I like Stoops. I think he's done a good job there, but that's not my point. The point is that we have to pretend that all these, as the Gen Zers would call mid teams, are actually good when they're not good.
Yeah, and you hear, oh, it's such a grind, No, it's a self-inflated grind because all the teams are ranked.
It's all crap.
Now, again, Alabama can win a national championship with competent coaching. LSU can. Georgia can. Florida can. That's probably more than any other conference. You might be able to throw Tennessee into that conversation. Auburn has to have a generational talent. I'm not sure Wisconsin can realistically win a national championship without everything falling. But you know what? Ohio State, yes. Michigan, yes. Maybe Penn State, right? So that's the difference. You have a better top. But their bottom to middle is not as good, or it is just as good as everyone else. They don't play the 9th game, and they all play Mercer in week 6.
Dude, or like Taiwanese State. You don't play those. Yeah, Taiwanese State. That's not a school, but whatever.
It might be.
Taiwanese. Actually, it might be a state. Is there a college in Taiwan called Taiwanese State? Somebody look that up.
I think that's the government, the Taiwanese state government.
It is the Taiwanese state.
But the point is, and now they want those auto bids and everything.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
Last year, I keep hearing, well, our wins are better than. You have to find a way to balance good wins and bad losses.
Right.
Alabama had 3 mediocre to bad losses.
Right.
Yes, they had more good wins than Indiana, but Indiana didn't lose games to crap teams. You did. You lost to Vanderbilt. You lost to a mediocre at best Oklahoma team who wouldn't have been 500 if they didn't beat Alabama. So, yeah, and the only one that kind of lives up to the hype for the SEC is unfortunately softball.
Yeah, softball's good. We'll talk about that later. Let's get a couple reads. In here. By the way, everybody, if you guys like me, we're going to be expanding the show here because of more sponsorships. Ooh. Okay. Or partnership. Sorry. All right, now Aris Dental. Brad, let me see your tongue. It's there. Okay, good. Now, everybody out there, if you guys have been to Aris Dental, I guarantee you left there with their tongue because they only offer necessary treatment. Brad, look how excited this woman is in this picture.
She's thrilled.
All right. Yeah, because she's also saying, you know what? I'm going to go to there and did I tell you about the championship package? And again, we know that that's my nickname in high school, but something else. Did I tell you about the championship package?
No, neither high school nor Aris Dental.
All right, yeah. Well, there's Dental. We don't need to know. Mine's kind of self-explanatory. But, all right, the championship package, though, my friend, that is, like I said, here's the deal. 1997, that will give you, Brad, have you ever been looking for implants?
Fortunately, not yet, but now I know where to go.
Yeah. All right. So you get the 1997 championship package where you get implants and the crown and little ring on top. I'm just kidding, but not the ring. But and that is all for 1997 out the door. There were guys coming from I don't know. I think it was like Missouri or something to get that deal. You don't have to go to Taiwanese State to get this done in their medical department. It's 1997. Now, Alejandro Del Orozco Perez Jr. I went to Aris Dental, and they actually gifted me an extra tongue. See, that's the thing. You might leave there with 2 tongues. You're not going to leave there with 0 tongues, though. Boom. Tongues in a championship package. Hell of a deal. Check it out. Land the man with the master plan. Big 12 Bobby. Can I get a grill there or does on? I don't know. It's a good question. We got to ask Andre about that. All right. Now, RJ's Frozen Cactus. Now, red hot beer I will always mess that up. Ice cold beer and red hot sports. Check it out. I think it was P. Hoff that went there. Our great buddy Palmer Hoffman was there watching some.
That's not a real name.
Palmer Hoffman, P. Hoff.
Palmer Hoffman's the name of the rich supervillain on one of those HBO shows.
All right. Well, either way, yeah, it sounds like somebody that was also in a Michael Douglas movie or something. But yeah, RJ's Frozen Cactus. Go there. They have a massive, massive parking lot. And again, check it out. They got no bad seats in the house. Lots of TVs. Lots of very good stuff. Heck, you might see Dennis Walsh cruising around in his jet, hovering overhead, dropping like they did in Black Hawk Down, where they drop down the the ropes. And he's just letting people out to RJ's Frozen Cactus. But again, pizza, wings, tacos, burgers, and more. 100+ craft beers. Check it out. Boom. Very good stuff. All right, what were we talking about before, Brad? It was something I think it was actually a good point.
SEC being overrated.
Yeah, it's crap.
The up and coming head coach at Taiwanese State.
Yeah, no, the Taiwanese State guy. No, he's
who I think hung with Vanderbilt last year.
Yeah, no, that guy's amazing. I mean, that guy's been scouting 5 stars from from basically day one. What was I going to say? Oh, dude, stop. Dude, I keep getting these calls from Trico Electric. I don't even use Trico Electric. Aren't they in Marana anyways?
They're up there. No, you know what? It's one of those cloned bad calls, probably.
Yeah, it's like buzz off.
Because I got one the other day that said Banner, and that's where my kids happen to have like their pediatrician, and it was the car crash scam.
Oh yeah, no.
Which is my new favorite is like, were you found guilty? I'm like, it's still up for debate.
Right.
They're like, can you explain what happened? I'm like, yeah. These spam callers kept calling me, so I ran them over with my car.
I always like when it's some guy that's calling from like Suriname or something, and they says that this is Bill. Your name's not Bill.
You know, I did to one once. He said, my name is, I think he said Nathan.
Nathan, okay, all right.
And I'm like,
dude.
oh, is that short for Nathaniel?
Yeah,
he's like, oh yes.
Yeah, like the traditional pronunciation of no, but
or Bill. Oh, is that short for Billington?
Yeah. No, is that short? Yeah, no. I love how it says, hello, this is Bill. No, it's not, dude. You're like in a factory in Taiwan. Come on, or Taiwanese state. All right, so
the guys who can't get in the Taiwanese state.
Yeah, these are the guys. These are the Taiwanese state rejects. Yeah, you don't get there. Let's see here. Rick Barons, do you guys ever get a text from an Asian woman who claimed to be living in the state of Washington? I have not gotten that before.
No, I get the toll one lately. That I have paid my toll.
Oh, yeah, toll.
And
I don't even know what that means.
And this one's legit. I am on some mailing list for elections in Louisiana. And they're like, hey, we'd like you to come out and support Proposition 305 to keep our schools funded in Louisiana. And then I'm like, I don't live in Louisiana. Then they'll be like, hey, can we count on your support for William Joe Johnson, who's running for sheriff of whatever parish? I'm like, I don't live in Louisiana.
Dude, hey, you want to hear something crazy? So, and we'll get back to sports here in a second. So, my mom is very politically motivated, but it's way like it drives my dad and myself just crazy because. So, anyways, she gets this mailing list last election. I'll say like 2020, and I end up mocking her, but she gets this mailing list of people that have not voted in like 5 elections or something like that, but because of their party registration, and again, there's probably more these are probably more in urban areas, and so this little old lady, she's 70 years old, and she's sitting there and she's writing a letter to some guy named Jawanza who hasn't voted since like 1976, explaining to Jawanza why he should vote. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, this is not going to work. Nobody is going to listen to you. You are wasting your time. And she says, no, it's going to work. Trust me. No, it's not. You literally wasted hundreds of hours of time doing nothing.
Well, the problem is we all know that Jawanza doesn't live here.
Handwriting, twin mama, handwriting.
He's playing wide receiver, Taiwanese State.
Yeah,
he can't vote here.
Yeah, no, it's crazy though. Like, and it's like, Mom, stop doing this. This is just a waste of time. And then she's like, and it's funny. My dad will just look at me like, well, I'm like, hey, Dad, are you gonna do that? And he's like, oh, absolutely not.
Your dad's too busy making cool things out of wood.
Oh, right? Yeah. My dad can every time I find a tree stump, I give it to my dad, and he like turns it into like the Garden of Eden.
See, you're killing 2 birds with one stone there, because we all know that true guys love finding cool sticks.
Yeah.
And then you give it to your dad, who's your hero, I'm assuming.
Stick. Yeah.
And then he turns it into something cool.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Like 3 guy things in one.
No, it's amazing. Oh, by the way, we got a super snap. Hold on, got a super snap.
Toy collector. Sounds like my kind of people.
AZ Toy Collector. Bear down, baby. This is the year. Yes, I like it. Boom. Check it out. Yes, we very much appreciate $10 super snaps. Woohoo. Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Tyler Warden is also going to be on tomorrow. We need to make fun of the SEC tomorrow. I want to do this as well. All right. Also, I want to talk about local recruiting with high school. So, Joseph in the comments here. I've been schooling this putz for the longest time when it comes to local recruiting. He didn't like Mason White. I told him that Mason White was going to be a diamond in the rough. He didn't believe me. And guess what? Mason White, Very, very good. One of the better players to ever play at the U of A. I also told him that Kane was going to be very, very opportunistic home run hitter in like the bottom of the 8th inning in like Big 12 title games. Didn't believe me. Guess what? He was. I also said the pitcher from Saurito was going to be really, really good. He didn't believe me either. Meanwhile, he's complaining about some guy named Milo Sanford who didn't even go to college, and he said Chip messed him up. There are people here that will never be happy with Chip, William Brad Alice.
See, it's funny because baseball recruiting in Tucson, and to a lesser extent, I mean, not lesser, softball. When the people say, hey, there's a really good football player here, I'm like, because we've seen the track record, right?
Yeah.
We know who they are. And again, love local kids who make it big, but sometimes I think we overhype kids who don't deserve the hype, and then they're disappointed when they don't get offers.
Like Joseph does it nonstop. Yeah.
But it's the opposite with baseball. You tell me there's a kid who can play baseball or a girl who can play softball in Tucson, I'm tuning in. I'm checking it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And again,
I'm
and I don't even know if there was a time when I could step on a football field and tell you within 5 minutes who was a D1 prospect.
Right.
Same thing in basketball. I would go with my track record. I haven't been to a recruiting event in 10 years, but my track record of Arizona recruiting, knowing who was going to be good and not good, pretty good. I apologize for Jamel Horn hype.
Very bad. I was wrong on Cam Denson.
I didn't see enough of Cam. But the whole point is, yeah, I mean, I trust Chip Hale to take the best guys out of Tucson, and sometimes you're going to miss. I mean, there's some kids, they always wind up it seems like the Cienega guys who wind up at New Mexico State.
Right.
I think there's a guy from Tucson at UTSA who just helped pitch him into the – can't keep them all, and sometimes you miss on a kid because sometimes a kid develops late, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes they walk on. You know, I just saw someone hyping up I can't think of his name. Who's the old CDO safety who walked on at Arizona?
Right. Tevis.
Tevis, yeah. Well, Grant, I love Tevis out of high school, but sometimes you got to walk on. But if you keep most of the good kids here, I think you're going to be fine at Arizona. You can build a pretty good program with Arizona kids and then smattering of other kids.
Well, that's what I keep telling him. And it's like Joseph and I, we were going back and forth the longest time. And I said, listen, man, this Mason White kid's good. And he's like, and he kept saying, oh, well, Loaded Bases or whatever that recruiting organization doesn't have him as super high. And I said, I don't care what Loaded Bases has to say or whatever it's called. I care about what Chip Hale has to say. He is right. I will take him over Loaded Bases. All right, let's get a couple reads in here, and we're going to get back to this. Boom. What do we got? Sheer. All right, that's Sheer. Brad, where'd you go? I can't see you. Where'd you go?
I don't know. I'm missing. Everything's
Brad.
blurry.
Brad.
It looks like the SEC's future.
Oh, Arizona primary eye care, my friend. Arizona Hey, Brad, look at these. Look at these things. I got two awesome pairs. So I got three different things here. I got the the daily use contacts, and I got these I got these Tom Fords. These Tom Fords are like really cool. The kids like them. And I got these St. Laurent's as well. And they're all from Arizona Primary Eye Care also. So here's the deal. You want to go there. AccuView is now offering $400 towards contacts, $150 for disposables. If you're going blind, go there. Well, I don't think they can help you if you're going blind. Maybe. Go there anyways. Call them first and fill them up. They got 4 different locations. One in Douglas as well. One in Douglas. So again, check out Arizona Primary Eye Care. They are very, very good people. And let's see.
They have to do that. One of the kids did not have the greatest eye test on their sports physical.
No. You need to do it. Check it out. Yeah. All right, now check it out. You mess with the paw, you get the glove. So we've decided that this is like a I can't remember. We need to get a poll going. Is this a Botoxed Scottie Pippen or just some Polynesian guy?
You know what it is.
Who?
Scottie Pippen got with someone in Aaron Gordon's family and had a kid.
Oh, that's actually a good one. Yeah, Scottie Pippen and Aaron Gordon had a kid.
With maybe a little T-Mac thrown in.
Well, who knows? It's 2025. Maybe it works. Yeah. Yes. So anyways, yes. That made myself laugh. Yeah, this guy right here. This guy looks like he could have been a quarterback for the U of A in the mid-2000s, by the way. This guy's like backing up like Willie Tuitama. Anyways, get that. You mess with the paw, you get the glove shirt. AZ12 podcast shop, fourthwall.com. A Timu Tumac. Or that's the real Tet McMillan. Ugh, I hate hearing that. Tet McMillan, to me, is like MNBA for William. Now,
that was just so weird.
Yeah.
Let's just give a kid a nickname.
Yeah, they literally just made it up. And then remember when Todd McShay was bashing T-Mac and he just kept calling him Tet? He's like, yeah, everything just became about Tet this, Tet that, dude. You don't know crap. Nobody ever called him Tet, loser. All right, now, life is getting bigger. Now, listen, Andre Veras. Now, we need to be very clear about something here with Longview. Andre, we can strongly recommend Andre, but we will not, under any circumstances, endorse him. No, not on my watch, my friend.
I don't know. See, just that Dennis and Walsh and I.
You can endorse him if you want.
Friend in the Facebookosphere, is that what he's even called? I might have to. I'm gonna have to strongly consider the endorsement.
You can endorse him if you want. I will not endorse him though. I am going to stand strong. Not on my watch am I going to endorse him. Do it, Brad. Are you going to do it? Are you going to endorse him?
I am.
All right. Brad Allis has just endorsed
only because Big 12 Bobby told me to.
Yes, but I am not going to endorse.
You're stricter than I am.
I run a tight ship.
And when you're the championship package, you know.
Championship package, baby. But I will not endorse Andre Veras. Now, Andre Veras, here's what you do. Did you recently just change jobs? Or you're saying to yourself, man, I need a job, and I know William Brad Allis gets people like Shelby jobs in Marana, but I don't know somebody like that, and I want to be able to manage my money. I strongly endorse going to Andre Veras. And again, 520-325-3456 and reference the AZ12 podcast for a complimentary initial meeting. Oh, by the way, hey, William, listen to this. So he's trying to get me to go to Ojos Locos with him so he can get me liquored up and then get me on tape endorsing him. Not going to do it, buddy. Not under any circumstances.
Great idea, though.
Have you ever been to Ojos Locos?
No.
That place is amazing. We should get them on.
Is that the one down on Irvington?
It's like by like the it's like a Spectrum Plaza or something like that. It's got like big eyes on it.
Yeah, I think I passed it yesterday and was trying to get the.
They were nothing there, literally nothing.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Mean, well, they do.
We were down on the down cleat shopping and tried to get him to go to a bunch of different restaurants, and he chose.
What's the name of the place? Cleat Shop.
We were trying to find cleats, football cleats for his big old.
Oh, feet. Football! I thought you said cleat shop. I'm like, where the heck is cleat shop?
We were going cleat shopping, and then we wound up at a certain establishment where the waitresses know how to fight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, TMZ Tucson, there's so many good fights that have been going on lately out in the city. It's very good. All right. So either way, check it out. Andre Veras, no endorsement from me. William Brad Allis endorsed, though. I will not. I
mean, they share a name with the Green Day song, a good one from the 90s.
Yes, I will not. The one at the Waffle House. I know the Waffle House. One guy was pretty funny. These fights are always with very, very large, very large.
I've heard recently that some of those ladies are referred to as tortas.
Yes, and exactly. So it's funny. So some guy said it's torta season out here again. These are big women that get into these fights. These are big women. They would destroy me. So it's like, yeah. And they always have those like long nails too, like the ones that that go out to like here, those extender nails.
Oh yeah.
Right, so that's all right. I'm just gonna leave that.
Well,
all right,
they load up on micheladas and some hot Cheetos, and they go to war.
Grandma's old cough medicine, and then they just go from there. All right. So, anyways, now let's get back. So Arizona baseball. We will know who they play: North Carolina or Oklahoma. I want Oklahoma to win because then we have a chance to host. That would be awesome. If
I think here's all you have to say to host. It's not tornado season in Tucson.
Right. Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's it.
That's what. Yeah, and we have more people that actually come here.
Although I'm guessing Oklahoma would do okay for.
Yeah. No. All right. Yeah. Well, either way, we want.
Yeah.
We want it. Okay. Now I want to switch over to a little bit of Tommy Lloyd. I want to switch over to a little bit of Tommy Lloyd talk. Because obviously we've had having William on here. William, what is your initial take on the roster for next season? What do you feel? What are your initial takes?
I still feel there's short one wing that I feel really good about. Mm-hmm. Do I think you can survive with going three guards at times or going with ADO and is it Aristode? Aristode? I don't.
Yeah.
And am I crazy to think, and I get the two mixed up, that the second of the African recruits who committed?
C.D. Gay or Mabel?
I think the second guy, Mado. Is it Mado?
Yeah, Mabel. We call him Bill. We call him Billy Buckets.
Okay. Is he a wing?
Well, no, he's kind of like a power forward.
I mean, he looks like, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. He looks like a Timu KG. That
No,
guy
I know
he can stroke it.
Right. No, yeah, he can stroke it with the best of them. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they're okay. Again, I think as constructed right now, and I know they're still shopping and looking, they're fine. I would like one more veteran wing, whether that's a guy to come off the bench, whether that's a guy to start. I think they are still missing that.
Well, Tommy seems very. I mean, assuming they get the guy from overseas. I mean, that's
the Ivan or Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan. He's been killing it over there. All the European folks are saying that he's an MNBA prospect.
And if that's the case, you combine those three guys. You hope.
And Aristode's still a top 25 player. I mean,
I know. Yeah, so I'm not bad. And then I think, again, if ADO can get 5% better, he becomes a competent second or third guy. So I think you're okay. They're not the big losers in the transfer portal that all these publications are because they haven't added anyone of significance. They just added a bunch of top 25 guys and a bunch of, apparently 7'2" guys who can ball.
Rick Barron's DM me about no, because I was at 1290 when Jeff Goodman was there, and we had LeVar Ball on the show. Were you on that pregame? Were you still there at the time?
I was not. No, I've heard clips of it though.
Yes, where he literally comes on and says, "My kid will only play for the Lakers." I put it out there, and Goodman was living with LeVar Ball at the time, and he goes out and he says, "Oh, he's misquoted." No, dummy, I have the actual audio. So yeah, he's full of it.
Goodman's an interesting character.
Yeah, I don't really get what it is. All right, now let me ask you this: you get all these people, and they're almost all Gen Zers. I get it, like Prim. Prim puts out there, he says if Carter Bryant comes back to Arizona, that it could have been the best team in U of A history. No, it couldn't have. But now it's a fringe Sweet 16 team. That is what my problem with Gen Zers is. They have no idea what they're talking about. Next year's team would be worse at every position than the 2001 team.
And
worse off the bench.
98.
Yes.
And 80. And what people really forget is college basketball has changed so much. You look at a team like 90 who flamed out in the first round, second round, or whatever it was. Maybe
was that the team that lost to Seton Hall in the second round, I think?
I think that's it. That was 91. 91 lost. That was the team that lost to Alabama in the second round.
Right.
91 was, but all those teams. Look at their rosters. That never happens anymore because they're all seniors.
Right.
NBA player, future NBA player. Now, would Tom Tolbert be a future NBA player now? Probably not. Is Sean Rooks in the NBA and this? I don't know. But, yeah, they're loaded. That being said, this team with Carter Bryant would have a lot of raw talent.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But again, I'm just
playing head-to-head against 01 because
I'm just saying
grown men.
I'm just saying position by position. Gardner's better than Bradley. Gilbert Arenas is better than Braden Burries. Richard Jefferson is better than Carter. Michael Wright is better than Koa in college, a junior Michael Wright. And Lauren Woods is better than Krivas or Tobe. And you got Luke Walton coming off the bench. It's not, dude, that team would lose by 10, 11 points. This team, if they had Carter, would be very, very good. But
Carter is the closest to a push.
Carter's close to a push.
And only because Jefferson was the fifth option on that team.
The thing though, let me ask you this though. If the thing with RJ though is that RJ got to the NBA and he averaged 22 points per game one season. Odds are that, and I like Carter, but odds are that he is not going to reach RJ's potential. Or not potential.
I think overall, my prediction is Carter Bryant will be a better overall pro than Richard Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
so you think he's going to be? You think he's going to be?
So.
Oh, that was funny, Big 12 Bobby. I know what you did there. So you think that he's going to be a high teens scorer then in the MNBA?
Yeah, I think if he develops properly, he could be. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Because he's a better shooter than Richard, potentially.
The thing with Richard, though, is Richard defensively was such a monster.
Yeah.
And
Richard had a place because he could fit into a team a variety of ways.
Right.
Usually as a defensive stopper, if he needed to score, he could score. But really, he was just a great role player. I could see scenarios where Carter Bryant is a team's second best player. Is it going to happen? I don't know. It's
Richard
way
is
too
also
early.
Richard is all the thing with Richard though that was also Richard was about as good a defensive wing as we've seen here. I mean
Yep.
he
Super athletic too.
yes. And I guess here's the one other thing I'll say is that we don't know the only Tyler Warden. The thing that I'll say about 98 and 01 is that those were easily the preseason number one teams in the country. Like it's a little bit
So was
different.
89.
Right. It's a little bit different, in my opinion, if you're fifth or sixth, as opposed to being, okay, that's the best team in the country coming in. That's all I'm saying. The thing with Carter, though, and I like Carter again. Oh, Vegas Falcon. Okay. Skip bringing the Euro, spread the minutes between Aristote, CD, and Muat, and I guess a few for ADO. William Brett Alice, accurate analysis. Okay. I got a question. I want to talk about this. Let's get a couple more reads in here because I want to talk a little bit about ADO here. All right, but BridgeTek Communications first. All right, let's see. Brett is the best pre. Okay, now here's the deal with BridgeTek Communications. You might say ADO. That guy's got to put on a little bit of weight. Yes, he does need to put on a little bit of weight. He's also got to find a gym though where where they properly market themselves. BridgeTek Communications is here to help. BridgeTek Communications is saying, "Hell, let us help you. Take the gym." And again, any gym that is using BridgeTek Communications, they are probably very, very productive. Check it out. BridgeTek Communications. Our guy Tony is the man. 750% average ROI. Check it out. They can help you market your gym or health wellness spa. Boom, boom, boom. BridgeTek Communications. We like BridgeTek Communications. Boom.
That's a sweet logo that I finally looked at for the first time.
Now Baggins, baby. Everybody go to Baggins today. Mr. Tyler Warden, you're coming on the show tomorrow. Go get Baggins and use code AZ12 for 15% off so we can talk about Baggins tomorrow as well. Now, locally owned and operated, all food made in-house. Every sandwich comes with a cookie. And again, join the VIP Text Club. Text Baggins at 877-797-0444 for specials and deals. Get the bag, baby. They just re-upped for another year, man. We're very excited about Baggins. We like Baggins. Boom. Now, check it out. Okay. All right, Carter. I like Carter a great deal. There's a couple things, though. There's a couple things. And again, I think he's going to be a very good player. Carter can't dribble. So Carter cannot dribble, and we don't know that Carter can defend. I mean, he's a great weak side shot blocker. I think Carter, to me, was going to be somebody that was going to be 14-5 next year.
I would say this. I think Carter has immense upside.
No doubt, for sure.
I think he has the potential, and again, I don't know if he's going to reach that potential, to be a big-time 3-and-D wing in the NBA.
I agreed. In the way
he may become a guy who can dribble.
Right.
He may be a guy who can continue to knock down shots at a high level. He may develop into a elite defender. May.
Right.
So what I would say is I think Carter Bryant has a higher ceiling than Richard Jefferson.
Interesting.
He also has a much lower floor. You knew what you were going to get with Richard Jefferson.
Yeah.
He was going to come in and be an uber athletic guy who was going to play and I think what did he end up playing? 12, 13, 14 years? And is now a great announcer. And that was true of a lot of the Luke guys.
I'm not questioning Carter. I think Carter's. Does
Carter have the potential to be a much better pro than Richard? Yes. He also has a guy who may barely survive his first contract if he doesn't develop because he's not fully formed.
We need to talk ADO here for a second. The Gen Zers in this comment would have gone crazy with some other things. This idea that ADO is not playable is absolutely asinine. Now, there's some games where, it's probably not an ADO game. I give you this. This group of people would have gone absolutely crazy with Joe McClain.
No, because here's the thing with Joe McClain. I was not a huge Joe McClain fan. I like Corey better. And I'm right. No disrespect. Man, people love Joe McClain. Like all my guys my age.
No, but these Gen Zers would have hated him because.
But I will give you some other names of guys they would have hated.
No, but here I'm going to challenge you on that first.
Yeah,
Joe McClain. You know what? Nobody in this chat would like a guy that shot 20% from three and 30% from the field for his first 3 seasons in college. Joe was not good.
No, Joe had hands like feet.
Joe wasn't good.
No.
ADO was better than Joe.
No, I get that, and I agree with you. But there are people, and you're seeing even in the comments. They remember him from like 4 games. There is this weird love affair with Joe McClain.
Everybody
I
out
think
there,
it was just a bunch of white guys who wanted to throw on some knee pads and
Gen Zers, look at Joe McClain's stats, especially compare his stats to ADO's stats. You guys would have been going crazy. No way ADO is.
Here's the only problem with ADO. He starts.
Yeah.
Because he is the newest version of Dylan Rigdon, of Drew Lavender.
But as an 8th guy, he's awesome.
As a guy who comes off the bench, has a little bit of stroke, can occasionally get to the line, has some glaring flaws.
And he's ice, though. I'm going to keep saying this. I will always push back against this. That stuff that he did against Oregon is no Joseph.
You know who else had some ice moments?
Huh?
Brendan Lavender. He had some big. Dylan Rigdon. You always need that guy.
Right.
Again, it's the starting thing I think people question.
Well, right. But I'm saying as a 7th, 8th guy, he's fine.
What was Arizona's record when he was a starter? Sometimes coaches get
Joseph.
superstitious. Do we not remember Kevin Flanagan starting over Joseph Blair for most of that season?
Oh, man.
Even if he would play 2 minutes,
right?
There was Luke got superstitious about it.
Right. No, but all I'm saying is this. Out of everybody that has ever played Wavy Davy, I'm going to ask you this, but we don't have a starting wing. How do we know? What's his name? Aristode was a top 10 player in the country at this time last year. Obviously, he broke his foot, but he's fully healed. How do we know that is not the? How do we know that is not the case? Also, that he's not. How do we know that Ivan isn't? I'm just saying that because Tommy Lloyd could have gotten the Tyrone Grant Foster. He decided he had better options. He clearly believes that he had better options. And yes, Rick Trimmer, you are wrong about Joe McClain. Joe McClain, again, I'm just going to say is this. He shot.
Senior Joe McClain is better than junior.
But we're comparing junior to junior. They both played the same amount of minutes, and ADO, and again, Joe McClain shot 30% from the field and 20% from 3. He was awful. That's all I'm going to say.
But he got floor burns.
Yeah, he got floor burns. Cool.
Again, and I think Joe McClain was a valuable role player on that team, just like I think ADO is. Here's what I find is funny. All these people who are mad that Carter Bryant didn't start last year are now going to be mad that Aristode is starting this year.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. These guys are literally rated. These guys are literally rated the exact same coming out of high school. Aristode and Carter Bryant. All of these guys in here wanted Carter to start, rightfully so, in my opinion. But now they're saying, well, with Aristode, we don't know. They're rated the exact same. You know, I don't know.
But we saw a lot of Carter Bryant on TV, and we didn't see Aristode.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's it. I don't get it. I do not get it. That's all I am saying. Let's see here.
I don't know. Who would you take, Lavender or ADO?
Lavender.
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
So.
Yeah, Lavender, because the thing with Lavender is Lavender was actually a really good shooter. But he just never he was another guy who was a lot like Chris Rogers. He just never was able to play like he did in practice.
Yeah, and he wasn't an awful defender. I don't remember, or at least he wasn't a great defender. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, all I'm saying is that you guys are all wrong on ADO. That you would have been going crazy. ADO is fine. If he's playing 14 minutes per game, no, Joseph, I'm saying that you have no idea what you're talking about, big picture. Just like you had no idea about Mason White. Take that. All right, Brad, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember now. All I know is now we're getting to Cree Roger talk, and I'm.
Oh, that was awesome, dude! When he became French, Chris Rogers. Chris Rogers is actually, in my opinion, probably the best on-ball defender, or right there amongst anybody. Those hands were amazing.
I think he was a lot of fury and motion and not as good as people think.
I thought, dude, he wasn't
a bad defender, but there was a lot of hand motion, court slapping, and then
there was a lot of times where like Jordan Farmer had a hard time even getting the ball up the court against him.
Yeah, and there were other times when he was getting blown. But I mean, there's 4 or 5 guys I'd take over him.
He's better than Shakur. I'll still stand on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
Mike, is Joseph
he's no Salim.
Mike, is Joseph going to get the glove treatment tomorrow? Yeah, Joseph, you better come because you're getting the paw. All right, Cody says we don't. Cody says don't do any reads yet.
By the way, Chris was also one of the guys I was wrong on.
Yeah, but
Chris Rogers was going to be
hold on,
far more closer to Khalid Reeves than. Brendan
Yeah,
Black.
but the thing with Chris Rogers, there was a lot.
Yeah.
And with guys like Chris Rogers, I have a hard time really crapping on them because if you know the story, it's about as bad a story as you'll ever hear. So I give him a lot of credit for getting 3 degrees in like 1 year or whatever. He's a really smart guy. He didn't need to do the fake French stuff. But yes, Geary is a better defender than Rogers. Geary's the best defender in school history, Hal. Okay. Oh,
Geary might be a top 5 defensive back if he played football.
Yeah. No, Geary's the best defender.
That came from a U of A football coach.
No, Kobe, I've asked you a billion times to come on, and you keep saying, I don't have a computer. I can't be at work. I can't do this. You've flaked every single time I've tried to get you on. All right, now, Vegas Falcon. If ADO gets the charity start, I will scrap the sheets. $10 super snap. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think ADO is as bad as people think. So we'll just leave it at that.
Again, he also doesn't deserve to be a starter.
Well, right, I get it. Neither did Joe McClain.
He's an eighth man.
It is what it is. All right, boom. Okay. All right, now let's get some reads in here because we're going to get to the topic that everybody wants to talk about. Music. All right, never mind. Cody's doing something he shouldn't be doing, probably. All right, X gonna give it to you. Comfort X.
We had the music, Mike. The music played.
Did you hear the music, Brad?
I did not.
Nobody heard the music.
It played. I'll play it again.
Yeah, now it played. It didn't play the first time. No, it didn't. Hey, everybody out there, did you hear the music the first time? No, Big 12 Bobby says he didn't hear it. All right,
I clicked the button.
What's that? Well,
I clicked the button, man.
Yeah, music didn't play. Everybody's saying music didn't play. T-Burn said it didn't play. Rick Trimmer's saying it didn't play. Nick Arenas, they're all saying it didn't play. Something is wrong with you, Cody. All right, you guys, thanks for backing me up there. All right, either way, though, Comfort X HVAC, my friend. You might be like Kobe L. Thiel. And again, listen to this. These are what these Gen Zers are doing right now. They are bragging about having a 2006 Dodge Challenger with 212,000 mile or 2,012 miles on it, and 212,000 miles on it, no AC. But the great thing about Kobe is when he gets home, he has AC, and if it ever goes out, it's going to be a lot better for him because Comfort X HVAC will be there because they don't want you to have no AC. Swamp cooler, not the way to go. Kobe, we know that you have a beat-up car. That's fine. At the end of the day, though, you deserve air conditioning, Comfort X HVAC, plus they'll give you a free AZ12 shirt.
Just notice they don't call it Comfort Z. It's Gen X, Comfort X.
Yeah, Comfort X, baby.
Don't make eye contact.
Yeah, check it out. Don't make eye contact. That could be very scary.
You know what I learned was scary too? I don't even know what my kids are. Are they Gen Z, millennial? I don't even know. Right. Apparently, punctuation in text bad.
Oh,
my daughter gets mad at me for using periods and commas.
No, it's a wretched generation.
And some don't like the thumbs up. Which I use all the time.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's a wretched generation. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Now. Welcome to the Rock, Green Valley Decorative Rock. All right, now, Brad, you're impressed by that Sean Connery impression.
Yeah.
Did you see there's a tennis player, and I thought their name was Alcatraz, but it's Alcaraz?
Yeah.
So I put that on there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman's name is Alcaraz or Alcatraz. And I put Welcome to the Rock, and then I think it was like, might have been Big 12 Bobby. Somebody told me, they're like, oh, that's not the name. But either way, this person should get Green Valley Decorative Rock. Back the rock, baby. 2 convenient locations, Tucson plus Green Valley, 50 plus locally sourced landscaping materials serving residents and contractors. Boom. Check it out. Again, they deliver north to Oracle, west to Marana, east to Sierra Vista Benson, south to Nogales. But again, if you're like Alcaraz or that lady or whatever, they might give you a discount just delivering out to her because, you're a woman with a tennis player with the name Alcaraz. So either way, check it out.
And you could probably hit one of their locations from my house if you maybe with 2 drivers.
Yeah, no, again, check it out. But again, also you can real time it though. You need to go get Rock there. Back the Rock, baby. Back the Rock. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about football here. All right. Last year was one of the, and I just keep saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it. Last year was maybe the most boring year that I've watched some really boring Arizona football teams. I lived Dick Tomey. I know all about it. Last year was just insufferable. There was no way around it. It was boring. Brad, we need to be entertaining this year. If we're going to lose, let's be fun.
Last year at times were Machiavickian in nature.
It's awful.
Speaking of which, so being a radio guy, and a lot of games weren't on TV even when I was doing radio. I used to listen to Brian and Les Josephson before Lamont got the job. They were playing Purdue. I think it was the.
I remember that. Drew Brees.
Was it Drew Brees or Kyle Orton? Either way.
No, it was Drew Brees.
So they're hanging around, but it's like 21-7. And they go deep just to chuck it up. And you can literally hear the soul drain out of Brian Jeffries.
Right.
I think they hit that 6-7 receiver who was and they're just like to the 40, to the 30, and that's when you knew the Machovic era. It took another year.
Yeah.
But when you can steal the soul from the pro of pros, Brian Jeffries.
That's amazing. That was really nice. You really basically pushed Brian into submission.
And Les just good.
No. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
No,
Joe Tiller. Joe Tiller was the coach.
Yeah.
Isn't he dead?
There were times like that last year. Now, there were also some good moments, and there were some where they fought like crazy. The biggest problem I had, and again, I'm not an instant blame the coaches kind of guy. And if you had wanted to get rid of Brennan, I'm fine. I'm also fine bringing him back. But I will tell you the worst part. I still can't tell you what that offense was.
No.
Pro style?
No.
Spread? Run first?
Well, and he kept but the thing about it is every presser was even more clueless than the previous presser. That was the other thing when he's like, Coach, what are you trying to do out there? Well, we're still trying to figure it out. Coach, we're 8 games in. Why are you still trying to figure it out? Well, we're still trying to figure it out.
How about in week 2, me and my then 13-year-old son were like, I think he's got to get the ball out of his hand quicker.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Week 5, we might have to look at speeding up our process. No, you need to do that. So that's why, again, you have Seth Doge. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Daggy, like geese.
Good.
Geese.
I'm glad it's not something.
Doge. Oh yeah, Seth Doge. Yeah. Department of Government Efficiency. We got a quarterback coming in here,
He's
baby.
going to make the offense more efficient.
Yes.
Though. But the point is, he has a plan. It is a version of the spread with a lot of permutations that he can do. I think it's a good fit for Noah Fafita, who is not as bad as the quarterback we saw last year.
Correct.
So now, what does that translate into? I don't know. I think you're striving to be a 6-win team this year. And again, I didn't think they were going to be a 10-win team last year, but I thought they should be an 8-win team. This year, if you can win 6, anything over that's gravy.
All right. Now, I got to ask you something else here. By the way, though, everybody get Little Caesars today, my friends. Get Little Caesars. We need to, again, not enough baseball talk today. We talked for 40 minutes about baseball. Get Little Caesars. You got the new promo codes. Cody, put that back up right now. And we got to get that new promo code in here as well. Check it out. Now, LCFREEECC for free crazy combo. Very, very tasty. And Cody, we got this other one. AZ12 exclusive code. 15% off any $20 order. Just use 15 off 20. Check it out. Oh, look at this. Dennis Walsh is finally following through and saying he's going to real-time Little Caesars on Friday. We like it. All right, Brad.
No, wait. Am I supposed to get Baggins for lunch?
Yeah, and the Little Caesars for dinner. Yeah.
Then in between, I get some rock delivered that I can then make a really nice table out of.
Correct. And then when you clog the toilet, call Foster.
Well, yeah, and then my AC's good, but okay.
Dude, when I got this.
Here's the bad news, though. I'm not going to break my teeth on Little Caesars or Baggins, so I won't have to go to Aris Dental.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you'll keep your tongue, though.
But if I decide to go grill,
yeah,
he said he'd do grill. I saw it in there. I saw Land the Man saying he'd do a grill. Assuming that's the real Land the Man.
That is Land the Man. That is the land.
And not an imposter like maybe your daughter.
Yeah, no, that's all. That's Dennis Walsh.
Then I think I'd look great with a grill, don't you?
No, yeah, you would. No, you'd look amazing.
Yeah,
Brad, I got to complain to you about something that you have answers for.
Okay.
Now, listen. You run the city of Marana, essentially. We've been through this.
I don't work for Marana. Haven't in 5 years.
Or the county. You run the county, basically.
No, I work for Pima Association of Government and the Regional Transportation Authority.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Yeah. There you go.
Talk to me about this crap that is going on here, because there has to be people to blame. The grant thing, whatever. 5th Street now, you have 2 parallel streets that are going under the same exact construction at the same exact time, and nothing happens. Why?
Let's just say for job security reasons, I do not call out any
No,
municipality.
I am calling him out.
But let's just say some municipalities are better at planning.
Well, but all right.
The only thing I can say, the only reason to do projects simultaneously is that's when the funding becomes available.
Why is it okay? Why then on grant does nothing get done? If I was a business and that grant road, I would be so upset. This thing is going to take 15 years to get done.
So part of the problem, and again, as I have learned, because I used to get frustrated, there's a lot of stuff you don't see that's going on in terms of utilities, land acquisition. But you have to get the project started at a certain time. It is a slow-moving process that is extremely frustrating. And people always say, well, how can they build a freeway in Phoenix in like an hour and a half? That's because there's no acquisition. You don't have to worry about turning off gas for 500, 1,000 people, whatever. I can tell you that stretch of grant is on time. It's frustrating. I've driven through it. But there's just more pieces and parts than you'd ever think for something like that. But yeah, same thing. I've learned that from the overpasses that get built.
All right. Well, then explain to me 5th Street then. Why is 5th Street now?
I don't know. It's not one of our projects.
Can you find out?
Yeah, I could.
Find out, please.
And there was another one you pointed out. Again, I'm not going to.
Oh, that one downtown that hasn't been worked on in 20 years.
The whole Barraza project has been, let's just say, interesting to say the least.
But
notice when RTA funds got involved. Hint, I can't really promote the RTA, but I like RTA funds. Certain parts of that project got done. But yeah, it's the whole downtown's been
it's unbearable. It's awful.
And that is the one thing, again, I've learned working in transport. And again, I write and I make videos. I'm not.
When is grant supposed to be done?
That stretch of grant is going to be done. The stretch that you're talking about, that Midtown stretch. I believe either late at the end of the year or early next year.
I'll bet you whatever you want, it's not.
So,
all right,
I cannot formally endorse the RTA. No, it's much like Andre Veras.
You endorsed Andre Veras. All right.
But I can tell you that I have learned that there are way too many moving pieces and way too many things and that's just how transportation works.
It's terrible. It's
all right, Brett. And here's the other thing I've learned. If you want the project sped up, it costs more, and then no one wants to pay for that, and then everyone gets mad that the project is being worked on, but everyone is mad that the project's not done.
Do they call you the Godfather of Marana since you got out of the game, but you're always kind of have a presence in Marana though?
Yeah, I know I'm still well liked up there. I think it's really hard to call.
Would you ever run Marana?
What?
Would you ever run the city of Marana if they asked you to run for mayor? Would you run?
I would love to go back to Marana. It was a great place to work, great community. I'd love to live there. I bought my house in 2003, so I kind of like my mortgage where it's at.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: you cannot call me the Godfather of Marana. I'll tell you why. When you have families like the Honeys,
no.
Don't say anything bad about. Don't say anything bad about.
No, we're going with
that. The Wong / I can't think of the name. Kai family, who basically. They're godfathers. They're OGs. Let's see. I'm kind of like who was the Irish lawyer for the Godfather who was kind of the outsider to the family? That would be more like me.
Yeah. All right. Hey, wait a second. We have a commitment going on. Yeah. Did this just break? Somebody send the. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. The Shears are on vacation.
Yeah, what is this? I was going to say, did this actually happen? Are you seeing anything? I see nothing.
So as you're looking that up, I'll tell a funny story.
Ivan Carter, can somebody link this? Okay, we got Ivan. All right, let's talk Ivan then. I'm going to take all your guys' words for it then. All right, I posted the tweet. Okay.
Euro Hopes did it 9 minutes ago. 25 class wing Ivan Karchikov has committed to Arizona.
Okay, all right, hold on. I will tweet that.
That dude's German?
No, it's like a fake German. Ivan just committed.
Ivan Karchinkov is not German.
No. He's like a Ukrainian or something. But I don't know what he is. All right, Ivan just committed. Yes. All right. So somebody tell Prim we got Ivan. Yes. All right. Either way, this guy's viewed as an MNBA prospect. So he is. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what he can do. The Russian Trey be nice. That's not good. This is going to be one of your. This is going to be one of your guys that's going to be in the rotation for starting small forward. Boom.
Yeah, he looks like a grown man. Of course, so did what's his face. He's now at St. Mary's. He looked like a grown man too. But yeah, this guy knows. Looks like he knows where the weight room is. Looks like he probably has a family of 4 already.
Right, exactly. So again, yeah, we will. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. We've been telling you that this guy was going to commit. So so we will talk about it tomorrow. But I am very excited about this. Very, very good. All right, we're going to sign off, but we'll be back with you tomorrow, 10:30. Breaking down Ivan.
I'll tell the story of a guy decommitting during my honeymoon some other time.
All right.
No one's asking for the story.
All right, I gotta get to work here. All right, for the great William Brad Alice, I am merely Mike Luke. Cody James Martin. Hey, Cody, put Ivan on the cover tomorrow. Deal? Cody's not listening.
You know he's going to do it. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah,
you don't get the third name without being really good at your job.
That's true.
Too many mute buttons. Yeah, I'll put him on there.
All right, Brad, you're the man. Very much appreciate you. Mr. Tyler Warden and Joseph coming on tomorrow. Joseph, we're going to see what Joseph's like in real life. All right, Brad, you're the man. Cody, you're the man. Everybody in the comments, you guys are great. We'll talk to you soon. TTFN.